Sawed off little.
Hey, I'm using your cup today. Thank you.
Excellent. We have to watch what we say because we'll be right next. That's why you put us here.
No. If y'all want to like sit here without a
I'm
table,
I can go home and just watch it on the internet. If you got a question, call me. Done with the stupid. Is this on yet? I'm done with the stupid show.
it may be on.
I'm done with the stupid stuff. Hey.
Good afternoon.
I'm not very good at minutes. I get more of my paying attention. I can't really rely. I usually try to make Mindy do my part.
It's on.
Good deal.
Would y'all can move. Y'all don't have to.
No, it's fine.
I didn't really actually get it up. Nobody will know who you are because they can't see you. No.
Oh, did he? How did he do that? Or I guess last night's meeting. Yeah. Give him a call. I had not heard that.
Maybe I'll put it up on TV and we figure out where it's going. Fix it, text it right now. Don't you worry, I'm fixing to be on.
You got my underwear mask on.
I just plant a few times.
Those meetings are good.
These things here are uncomfortable as crap. Them better? Cut the water out? Probably serve the same purpose. I washed the other ones I had. I thought that way I could save them. Every one of the suckers shrank.
Yeah, I left one in the truck. It just got hot in the sun. And shrunk up and up.
One of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, underwear.
Stretch it back out.
Yeah, I can't stretch these back out. I tried stretching one of them and pop that sucker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Aldermen regular meeting. Is this working? Today is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. It's now 6:00 p.m. I'd like to have Ken Pena with the invocation and we'll do the pledge.
Let us pray, please. Lord God, as we have our meeting here tonight, allow us the wisdom, the professionalism to have a meaningful meeting for all our citizens tonight. And Father, during this time of COVID, we pray for the individuals who are infected, and especially the individuals who have passed from this disease. God, may you be with them. May your healing hand be upon them. And especially, Father, we pray for our medical people, our police and fire, all the folks who serve us to make our lives better, and especially the men and women in uniform, wherever they may serve. May you be with them and protect them and bring them home safe. God, be with all of us. For all these things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, all aldermen are present. I, Greg Alderman, in the capacity of the mayor tonight in his absence. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda and the addendum?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion made by Rob Blackman, second by John Gill. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Let's go ahead and get the addendum out of the way first. Item 1A is just a removal of the item 6B pertaining to the livestock. And then item 1B is going to be authorized payments from Mississippi Power franchise election held on August 4, 2020 in the amount of $9,209.40 to reimburse by Mississippi Power.
Make a motion to approve item B, Mayor.
Motion made by Rob Blackman, second by Bobby Cox. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. So that takes care of the addendum. First thing on the agenda is a public hearing, which the developer has deferred that to the September. He has requested to defer that to the September 1st, 2020 agenda. So we're going to move along to the agenda for the public comment. We're going to allow anybody that's here to talk about anything that's addressed, that's going to be addressed in our meeting, that's on the agenda, talk up to 3 minutes for a maximum of 30 minutes. But please remember that this time is only to come up if you have something you want to talk about that's on our agenda. So I guess we can go ahead and start on this side of the room, and if y'all want to come up and state your name and address, then you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you for letting me be here. My name is Donald Shar. I live at 108 Shearwater Drive. I'm speaking on behalf of my wife, Leanne Shar, and myself. This is with regard to item 8D on the agenda regarding discussion of authorize a job description for the art and cultural coordinator. I'm certainly aware, as I know y'all are, that there's been a lot of concerns about potential plans associated with the Mary C. And since this specific job is associated with those potential plans, I'm requesting that the board table any action on this until those discussions can be held. I know it's not on the agenda tonight, so I think it's inappropriate or not prudent to be discussing a job description about a change that has not even actually occurred or been discussed in the public. So I request that the board defer any action or table this until those discussions can occur.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Bianca Wooden. I'm at 136 Iowa Avenue. I wanted to comment on the Mary C. as well. I had heard that there were some big changes at the Mary C. and they were being asked to, the Mary C. organization was being asked to leave the building. And it really came as a shock to me because I understand it's been around for over 20 years. My daughter is an artist. She first went to the Mary C. when she was about 6 or 7. We submitted that first piece of artwork to the county fair, actually, and now she's 16. She's there now, volunteering. She's there 2 nights a week during the school year. During the summer, she was there more days than not, working as a volunteer. It's an important part of our life. So it was personal and upsetting when I found out about this change. So I don't know what, I would like to hear more discussion about it because I feel like there's information going around, and I can't seem to get the facts. The Mary C has been a respected organization, and I wonder why the city is not working collaboratively on a plan going forward. I haven't seen any plans from the city, and yet I see the Mary C literally boxing up things to move out of the building. So it worries me. I recently listened to a podcast from Brene Brown, and she said, we're not here to be right, we're here to do right. And that just comes to mind for this situation. It sounds like some people kind of maybe got their foot in the ground and said, we're going to do it this way, and this is what's going to happen. So we could just take a minute, a breath, and think about what can we do that's right instead of being right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me if I leave my mask on? My name is Jill Hendon. I'm at 1023 Conley Circle here in Ocean Springs. I also concur with the previous two statements regarding the Mary C. My family has been very interactive with the Mary C and their programs, and I did hear about the change. And I don't think the details surrounding the change were provided in enough detail for the community to understand why the change was taking place. There might be some great benefit to it, but when all the details aren't released, we kind of fill those unknowns with worst case scenarios. And I feel like a more thorough and overt discussion about this would probably ease a lot of minds and maybe help us understand where things are going. Because right now we're all very disappointed in the direction that this is going. I will say that I think the Mary C's setup and the way they operate is unique, and it allows us as community members to be invested in the direction that program and the direction Mary C is going, and it is a source of pride for us to be able to have that voice and that involvement in that organization. And I would really hate to see that investment go away. So I again just encourage us to have some more overt conversations regarding this, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
My name is Brady Anna Young, and I reside at 222 Linda Drive. I'm kind of addressing several things today, and just some of the things I've seen popping up on the agenda in general during a pandemic, during a time that our city, along with the rest of the world, is suffering, during a time that life's just harder for people in general right now. I'm not really into politics. I'm here tonight because I have a heart for people, like I think most of you gentlemen do. But I just wanted to encourage you guys with everything that's coming across right now to keep in mind that everybody's suffering right now. Life's harder for everybody right now. You guys have things on your agenda that are just strictly there to either make somebody's life a little harder right now, but there's really no other reasons for it to be coming across agendas right now. The Mary C even, why right now? Why? When people are having issues finding jobs, feeding their families, why right now? I just encourage you guys. I mean, I think all of you are Christians. I'm a Christian, and we're commanded to love each other as we love ourselves. So I just want to encourage you guys tonight to, as you make decisions, just remember that. And if you can do something to make one of these citizens' lives easier, I encourage you to do that. Thank you guys. God bless. You're in my prayers.
All right, thanks. I just want to remind everybody, at the end of the meeting, we are going to have a public comment section. So if you come up at this part, I do need to have you talk about something specific that's on our agenda. while I appreciate what you said and what everybody else said, this part is strictly for, or particularly for things on the agenda. So if anybody else wants to speak. Okay, nobody else? All right, so.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good evening, I'm Pat Joachim. I live at 1216 Iola Road here in Ocean Springs. I'm concerned tonight that there's going to be action taken on a job description and on several other things that really do not need to be taken tonight. I have not seen anything come out as to what that's going to entail. So I think that there needs to be some discussion on the rec and park description, the job description. But I also want to say that I am very concerned about the Mary C. O'Keefe. Now, I've been chairman of the board. I have been on the board. And just like Bobby Cox's parents, I went through that building for 12 years. I have been extremely pleased with what has happened. The city has maintained the building. You know, the programs have expanded. Y'all have done a great job. But golly, for this to come out in this manner and to ask the Friends of the Mary C. O'Keefe to vacate without giving them any reason. Through the agreement, we do not have to give reason. You do not have to give reason. But you know, John Gill, you've been on this board a long time. You love this city as much as I do, and I know many of you all do. So I'm just asking you, please, take your time, don't take any action tonight, and let's do this the right way. Thank you for your time and energy, because that's not an easy job, and I understand that, but I appreciate everything that you all have done up until now, baby. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Shepherd.
My name is Jason Graber. I live at 308 Live Oak Avenue in Ocean Springs. As I understood the announcement, there will be a time at the end of the meeting to kind of take this up. I just want to make sure that any motions that need to be brought up won't be time barred by doing it at the end of the meeting. Do those motions procedurally need to be brought up before the, I think you referred to it as the comment section?
Right.
Procedurally, can we take it up at the end?
It's going to be after the vote.
So we would still be able to, or y'all could still entertain a motion at the end of the meeting. Is that fair?
Well, the way it's going to work is that once we finish this comment, we're going to go through old business, new business, consent agenda, and department reports, and then we're going to so by the time it gets to public comment for the last 30 minutes, all the votes will already be placed, cast.
I'm going to rephrase what you said. If a motion needs to be made, it needs to be made before the public comment section.
It's going to be made as the agenda has it listed out.
Anything on the agenda would be made before public
Right,
comment,
yes.
but if they are requesting you make a motion, it can be made in Aldermen's forum or after public comment.
At any time during this meeting, a motion can be made. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, before I move to the next item on the agenda, I forgot to welcome our new Parks and Recs Director, Mr. Stephen Glorioso. He's a member of our city family now, and we welcome you. Next on the agenda.
Before we go on, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a brief statement. You know, it's said over and over that we've asked the Friends to vacate the building. We have not. You know, the sad part of this whole thing is, if it were not or some misinformation and disinformation being circulated, this change could have occurred and the public wouldn't have even known. There's no programs that are going to be eliminated. Hopefully we grow the programs and expand the programs at the Mary C. Everybody up here loves it. My family has been to any number of plays. My daughter looks forward to going to the plays there. I've taken some cooking classes there. There's no programs that are going to be eliminated. It's just, I hate to see the angst that's coming out of this. You know, as we transition into the new management, you know, they're going to be encouraged to work with the Friends. I don't think the public will see a noticeable difference in the operations, to be honest.
We just lost another program today, so what you said is false.
The city, if we did, the city didn't cancel it. I'm sorry to hear that, but you know, the truth is, some organizations have moved on. Triple Threat moved their plays over to Lynn Meadows. There will be the Sanger will be operational again soon, so people are going to have options. We need to work hand in hand with these groups and our volunteers to encourage participation at the Mary C. And
Transparent with that work. That's false information that you just gave.
it is not false.
Yes, it is. We had a program canceled today with confirmation, and the reason being was that they could not get an answer from the city.
Well,
Have it in writing.
well, the Friends are still managing the Mary C.
Correct, and these people know that the building is no longer ours at the end.
Well,
They need a place to go.
Okay,
how can the Friends make any plans past less than 90 days? That's the issue. They have no-
Correct, they're with us through August, and then you find them home in September, because you won't get answers.
hang on a second. Let me, I think there's some things to consider in what Mike said and then everybody out there. But I do want to say that I believe there's a lot of people misinformed. I got a lot of calls in my ward. And the more I look into it, when you start considering OOSA and HOSA, PAPOS, Friends of the Mary C, and all these other organizations that are involved, they just feel like it's moved a little bit too fast. If the board's direction is that that's what they want to do is change the management, I respect that. Then I'm a one-person vote, no matter what. You know, if the majority is, then that's what it is. But I just wish that we would slow it down a little bit, have some meetings to where people can understand it better, where we can get people behind this, so when this is all done, there won't be a misunderstanding. And so instead of us, going, back and forth on it, I think that's the only way we're gonna resolve this is if we had some open meetings. But that's gonna be a board decision whether we do that or not. I can't make anybody have a meeting, but I think that, yeah, it's right. The building is owned by the city, but the city buildings are owned by the taxpayers. So the taxpayers have just as much say-so with that building as we do. And we're getting ready to enter a time where we're gonna start spending money on payroll in that building. We have a lot of other things going on in our city, a lot of loose ends that I hadn't even been able to tighten up or finish up in the 3 years that I've been in office so far. So I would like to go into a new transition with at least with somewhat of a public input to where everybody understands and everybody can appreciate why it's gotten to where it is. And with the pandemic, there is some issues with that, because even no matter who has the building, no matter whoever's in charge of operating it, there's not going to be anything really going on in that building while this pandemic, and if it is, it's going to be so limited with the CDC guidelines that I don't see anybody making any real dollars out of that building until this is over with. And I think during this pandemic period, I think it would give us time to see what's going to happen with our businesses, whether we're going to have another shutdown or what's going to happen with the schools. And this board has the right to make changes at any time throughout the year. So whether it's today or it's next month or the month after, I would just like to get everybody together, especially, you know, the people that have been the major players in supporting the Mary C for all these years, and the amount of donations. You know, the thing that bothers me the most about this whole thing, and I don't really know much about all the arts and the 501c3s and all this stuff, but I do know that there's grant money involved, there's people that have jobs that are involved, and all this stuff is going to take a lot of planning on moving forward on making this a successful venture. I don't want to, as a city official, move forward so fast that we do something that it comes back and we're not successful, and then it's going to be, I told you so. So with that being said, I just would like to see our board consider having a special call meeting, or having a special call meeting to have everybody to the table, OZA, PAPOs, the public, whoever wants to attend, so they can hear what the plan is, because I have not seen a plan yet. I've asked for a plan. They say our mayor has a good plan, and I respect it, and I'm sure he does, but I think everybody else would like to see the same plan that I would like to see. So with that being said, Mike, all right, so next on the agenda on the full business is to adopt the proposed ordinance amending zoning and subdivisions to revise Chapter 14, Article 1, Section 1410A3 regarding speed limit on Government Street near the intersection of Ocean Springs Road and Paps Road.
Mayor, that is something I asked to be brought up, and Nicole wrote up the ordinance. I guess we're ready to vote on it. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
I'll second. Motion made by Bobby Cox, second by Joey Bellman. Any discussion? Discussion? Okay, roll call.
Aye.
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 No.
Nay. So that was 4-2, so motion carries. So since it wasn't unanimous, that's 30 days?
Correct.
Okay. All right, next under new business is the update and discussion of city health insurance. John Walker.
I appreciate your time. Today's is not technically a renewal presentation. Patty and Indy, myself, are still working together to try to iron out some other options, try to secure some other discounts. But I did want to give the board a quick update of where we are today, what your renewal looks like from your current carrier is the way it stands. So I'm going to walk through this pretty fast because, again, I'll be back at a later date to do the official renewal presentation. This is just a quick update of where we stand today. If you'll flip to the third page, which is Lockett Williams on the very top of the page, the little red circle. This is just a quick summary of the plan that you have in place today. That's what the city employees have today. You got United Healthcare, talks about your co-pays, your deductibles, your max out pocket. Then it talks about the City of Ocean Springs deductible reimbursement plan. Y'all have had this in place for many years, so I'm not going to sit here and go over. I'm just putting that in there to say that's what you're currently doing today. If you look at the next page, those numbers are awful small, so if you can't read it, there's vision insurance that we sell too. So the main thing I want to point out here, these are the things that United Healthcare looks at when they're setting your rates. These claims experience and the premiums collected, that type of stuff, is from October 1st of 19. That's when your plan renewed, and it's only through February of 2020. The highlighted areas, the third column, talks about your premium through 5 months. You're paid in $508,000. If you'll go down toward the right where it says total payments right now is $427,000. To the right of that shows you're at an 84% loss ratio through 5 months. Now, there are some premium lags. The carriers know that. There's some other things that they look at, whether a claim is ongoing or over. If a claim is over, they don't ding you as much. But if there's a health condition they know is going to be ongoing next year, they will take that into account when they're setting the rates
for your renewal in October. One of the things I did go back and do is look at the first 5 months of the previous year when you were with Blue Cross Blue Shield. The claims for the first 5 months for Blue Cross was 569,000. With this one, it's 427. So claims are down, but they're somewhat down because you changed carriers and they're paying the run out, and United is having a flag on the front end. So that's one reason the claims are a little bit lower. But that's the premium loss ratio is 84% for 5 months. The next page is the actual renewal from United Healthcare. You can certainly read down and see the co-pays for the doctor's office, the co-pays for your prescription drug plan, your deductibles, and all that type of stuff. But this is the current plan you have. What this page is telling you is if you don't make any changes whatsoever, we'll probably recommend some changes, but if you don't make any changes whatsoever, United Healthcare, if you look toward the bottom of the page, the 443, your current single rate, is going to go to 488, and then you can read the employee spousal and the family rates. That's a 10.2% increase is where we stand now. Now, 30 days ago, when they first came out and gave us this renewal, it was 14.2. We talked to them, we told them that was not acceptable to us as the agent. We've got to do whatever we can to try to save as much money as we can. So through several discussions and having them going back to underwriting, we were able to knock 4% off right off the bat. So now it's at 10.2, not 14.2. We will have additional discussions with them about getting more money off. We're also going to look at some additional benefit tweaks here and there that will hopefully get this lower. So again, this is the preliminary discussion on your renewal. We're going to come back after we meet with Mindy and Patty and the carrier and tell you what our recommendations are and give you some options to look at for the final renewal meeting before October the 1st. So that's where we are. The next page real quick is the new wellness program that we're implementing. We've started this several months back. We've met with all the employees. This is a wellness program that we've talked about for a couple of years. We are changing the way it works. We joint ventured with Singular Hospital to come out here. They did urine tests, blood draws from all the employees that were willing to participate. This is kind of the outline that we discussed with employees. I just wanted to put this in the package for you to understand we are trying to be proactive and do things that will save the city money in the long run. So this is the wellness program that we put in. This will go into effect October the 1st. The employees have already done the blood draws. A lot of the employees have already qualified for the discount premiums they're going to pay out of their checks. We're waiting back to get some of those that did qualify to get the results back from their doctors to say they're under the care of the doctor so they can get their discounts also. So just want to put this in there, FYI. This is what goes into effect October the 1st. The deadline to hand the stuff in from the employees is September 1st, so it's ready to go October 1st. So I just want to throw this in there as what we're doing different for October 1st. The next page shows optional medical plans. We have talked to different carriers about fully insured. We're also looking at self-funded. You've heard us mention that for last year and this year. We're looking at that. The next page, which you'll flip over, is a response we got from Blue Cross Blue Shield. As we told you last year, when you changed from Blue Cross to United, you had a pretty substantial savings in premium taxpayer dollars to make the change, and that's why you made the change last year. We told you when we did that last year, Blue Cross may or may not look at you again this year. But when I spoke to Blue Cross about, are they interested in looking at it, they certainly hate to turn business down, so they said yes, they want to look at it. We sent them all the claims information, your current rates, what you're doing, and this, what you have in front of you is the response from Blue Cross. They said based on the benefits and your renewal premiums from United, they can't be competitive with the renewal rates if you're getting the 10.2% increase. They can't be competitive with that. So Blue Cross is basically saying on a fully insured basis, they can't be competitive, so they're not going to use you a quote on that. The other thing we don't have in here yet, because we're still getting the quotes in, we have several. We got about 6 self-funded quotes that have reinsurance in place to cover any catastrophic claim. We are looking at that. We're still negotiating that with the carriers. Right now, the best policy that we have self-funded is going to be about $200,000 higher than the renewal from United. So at this point, it doesn't look like self-funded is going to be the way to go, but we will continue to negotiate those rates. And I'll probably explain to you a little bit further later. Self-funded is usually a little bit higher because when they set your rates, those rates are set at 25% above expected claims. If you don't spend the money, that money stays in the city coffers, not paid to an insurance company. So you just got to understand the risk-reward ratio there, and we'll get into that a little bit better if we find a self-funded quote that looks sellable. Right now, it doesn't look good, but we're going to continue to look. I will tell you, we're going to work with Minnie and Patty. They're meeting with us tomorrow at lunch. We're going to discuss several other options that we want to bring to the table that may lower your renewal rate from 10.2. I think there's some things we can tweak in your drug program and things like that. That's the part of your plan that's going through the roof, not your plan. Every plan in America, the drug portion of these plans are going through the roof. Medical inflation may be 8%. Drug inflation is at least 15, if not higher. Some of these specialty medications that are hitting the market, they're $2 million per month per prescription. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what's going on in the pharmaceutical world today. But those are the things we're going to look at. Those are the things we're going to negotiate, bring you some options back. So today's meeting is really to inform you kind of where we stand today, and we're going to get back to you in a couple of weeks with what we think you should do as a recommendation, and then you'll make your final decision for October the 1st. So we'll answer any questions. I really just want to give you a quick update today of where we are.
We have open enrollment scheduled for 2 weeks from now, so this is something we hope we can get turned around maybe next week and have the information where we can make a decision next week so we can be prepared for open enrollment.
Yeah, notice it's 146 total employees enrolled. How many employees do you have? What percentage?
About 180 full-time. We have quite a few that are still on their parents' plan, or they have TRICARE, they have medical benefits through the military.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right. Next on the agenda, under 6C, is authorized to award construction Ocean Springs Front Beach Living Shoreline Highlands Project fiscal year 18. P501-050S. Carolyn?
The information that you have in front of you, and I've got the engineer on the phone if you all have any questions, I'm not able to attend. But we were finally able to get the permits for the Living Shoreline project after 13 months. And we did advertise. We received one bid. It is over budget. What I presented to you, because we do anticipate some things to be, some opportunities to bring the cost down as we go forward, but we need to go ahead and award it as is. We do have 2 other Tidelands awards that are not going to be spent or have not begun yet, so that's what I've provided to you is the request to award the Living Shoreline project to Twin and to authorize me to request reallocation as presented if that becomes necessary as we move forward. So I wouldn't request reallocation until we were able to finalize the contracts, which would also come to you, and we would follow up at that time. But to follow purchase bid law, we have to be able to say that the funds are available if necessary.
I've got a question. Carolyn, any money that's left over, you said that there may be some money that could be allocated for something else if you're over budget on the Living Shoreline?
Correct.
Where would that money, what's in your mind where that money would go?
Well, to go, well, I'm asking to reallocate from the front beach maintenance and then the Living Shoreline Phase 2, to reallocate that to this Living Shoreline project because the bid came in over budget. But I do believe that we're going to be able to bring those costs down as we implement the project. These are 2 awards. One was one that it came in under budget. We haven't spent it all. So to reallocate the balance to this award. And the other one is a Phase 2 that we were going to do after this one's finished. So since we haven't started that one, to just authorize that we can request that reallocation if we are not able to bring the cost down enough.
So are you saying that that you're planning on to take money from a Tideland grant and use for the Living Shoreline?
Correct.
Because the bids come in high?
Correct.
What 2 grants or those Thailand money dedicated for that you take it from?
As I just described, and they're listed as shown in your memo, it's an FY18 award that was used to fix the fire pits. We only have one item left to do on that, and we would have sufficient funds to move over. The other one is Living Shoreline Phase 2, which we haven't begun because we were going to get this one completed and see how it turned out. So there are ones that we haven't, either don't need the funds to finish that project, or we haven't begun the work yet.
Well, but talking about Living Shoreline 2, we only approved one shoreline project.
Well, you've
I know
only
there was
approved one
3
project.
or 4 of them.
Right.
We just narrowed it down just to one because the board decided not to do, they didn't want to take up that much room on the front beach with.
No. This isn't from an ongoing, this is from an award. We still received the award, we just haven't changed the scope yet because we were trying to determine how this was going to go forward. So this is not another project that has been started, but it is another award that you all authorized us to receive. You got to remember when Thailand is awarded and applied for, it's always almost a 2-year period before you receive it. So these awards are available but have not been obligated to a project. They are obligated by the state to us for a Thailand's project, but you can request to reallocate them to another Thailand's award upon request. So they're not projects, so we haven't started a second Living Shoreline, but we do have an award out there that we have not determined how to use it because we were waiting for both the county's project to move forward and this one to be implemented. It was just delayed a year because of the poor permission.
So what you tell me is not going to be used for Living Shoreline 2?
Right, we have no plans for a
Okay.
second one yet.
Carolyn,
We just have the award.
I hope there's not a yet.
I don't know what's going to happen to Bar. I'm just saying we have no plans for it.
Carolyn, I'd like to leave the front beach maintenance alone
Okay.
and just take it
I can't
completely.
hear you tonight.
Is it on that?
Yeah, it's just.
And just take it completely out of the Living Shoreline Phase 2.
That's fine.
That way, because we will have more maintenance on the beach to be done.
Okay, we just have to determine what that is because I've had it for a while. And again, I will come back to you with the contract when it's finalized and then confirm where it's going to come from. So
How much is the Shoreline 2 project?
that award was for $150,000, and that's indicated there in your memo. So I'm not going to request it until we finish negotiating the contract, which will also come back to you. I just needed you to be able, I needed this on the record because per state bid law, we have to show that we have the funds available to award the bid. So they are available, I just have to reallocate them, but I'm not going to make that request until we bring the contract back to you.
I want to make a motion that we authorize to award the construction of the Ocean Springs front beach to the shoreline.
Thank you.
Motion made by Bobby Cox, second by John Gill. Any more discussion?
I just need you to add in there and to request reallocation.
I request the reallocation to come out of the Living Shoreline 2 phase.
If we can.
Is that part of your motion, Mike?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But I'm not going to make the request
Yeah,
until it comes back, but
At a later date.
it just has to be documented.
Okay, I'll second the amendment to the motion.
All right, so we have a motion by Bobby Cox, second by John Gill. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
We hope to bring that contract back to you next meeting or.
Okay. Next is the consent agenda. Anybody have anything to pull from the consent? Have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to accept consent.
Motion made by Rob Black, second by Bobby Cox. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, consent agenda is accepted. All right, next is the part of reports. And that's gonna be city clerk approved payment, document claims, all expenditures are appropriate and authorized by the widespread summary on the minutes.
Move we approve the docket claim.
Motion by Bobby Cox, second by Kim Panion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is to accept the monthly budget report.
So move.
Motion by John Gill, second by Joey Bellman. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All opposed? No. Okay. Police Department authorized to execute general agreement between the Ocean Springs Police Department and the U.S. Department of Interior and the National Park Service, Gulf National Seashore. Chief, you want to?
That's our contract with them. We handle their dispatch responsibilities. It's standard. It's been.
Oh, you guys dispatch them?
We do. We have for several years. It's just a renewal. It's like a, Nicole can correct. Yeah, it's about a 5-year I think it's a 5-year contract. I don't know, it goes forever. That's why it very rarely comes up, but yeah.
Y'all also patrol out there when they're not.
Oh, we have concurrent jurisdiction, yes.
Move to authorize and execute general agreement between Ocean Springs Police Department and U.S. Department of Interior and National Park Service.
Motion by Bobby Cox, who's second? John Gill. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is 8D, discussion to authorize the job description for the Arts and Culture Coordinator.
Before you is the job description for the Arts and Culture Coordinator, which was discussed by the Human Resources Committee on July 27, 2020. I sent it all out to you all to review. So if you have any thoughts on any changes that you'd like to make.
It looked fine to me, man. I appreciate y'all going through that, going over the position. And I differ from the concerns that were given earlier because I feel like this is a move in the right direction. I feel like.
Pull the mic up to you, Bob.
Can you hear me? I really feel like this is a move in the right direction. We're not asking the Friends of the Mary Sea to move out. We do want to work with the Friends of the Mary Sea. We do want to meet, have an advisory council to get together to go over the new agreement with the Friends of the Mary Sea. I think there's a lot of worry and angst over, I understand some of you don't know all the ins and outs of all of it, but I think together we can work together and make it really turn out great. I really do not want to see the programs leaving. I hate to hear Lisa say that one left today because we really want to support the Mary Sea. And I've worked with these ladies and gentlemen that was on the board. I was on there for 8 years. And once you get on that board, it's in your blood. And so I do not want to see this just wiped out. And I promise that is not their intent. The intent is to get the city more involved and to move this forward. And Ms. Pat, I know I was going to give you a call today. I did not get a chance to. I'm sorry. But I think with an advisory group put together, we're going to move this forward and everybody will be happy with the outcome. So I don't think anybody needs to really panic thinking that the Friends of the Mary Sea are moving out. That is not our intent. Our intent is to work with them. We're going to take a load off of them for the day-to-day management of the building, which should in the future help because they can focus more on the arts and the culture and the history of Ocean Springs. We don't want to see that building leave. We don't want to see what's going on in there now stop. We want it to continue. So with that being said, I really think this is a move in the right direction and I'm back.
The HR committee discussed removing this position from civil service, which would necessitate an ordinance to be written for that to occur. The civil service ranking has been removed for the department head positions that have not been vacated and the assistant department head positions that have not been vacated. So that it's not something that's unusual for a higher level position.
Exactly. I understand. I like that. Thank you.
At what point would y'all like to open comment? Very interested to do it now.
It's going to be at the end.
I'd like to make the motion that we accept the job description for the art and culture coordinator and put it out to publicize.
by Joey Bellman, second by Bobby Cox. Any discussion?
I have some, Mayor. I think too, this is a little premature to accept this. I've just had a chance to read it over the weekend, and I just think it's premature.
Any more discussion? Well, I don't have a vote tonight, but I really wish that that we can all come together and have meetings where we started making changes over there, because I'm telling you, I think if people knew the plan, and I agree with you, Bobby, I think y'all probably have a good plan, but nobody knows it. I mean, I think if we had, why can't we have meetings with people first and then move forward? Well, we have, okay. All right, well, we have a motion on the table by Joey Bellman, second by Bobby Cox. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Can I get a show of hands for that? Or can I? Aye. Aye. John Gill, Joey, Bobby. Nay. John, nay.
Aye.
Rob, nay. And then Mike, aye. So it passes. All right, next is general public comment. And the public will be can address the board up to 3 minutes for a maximum of 30 minutes. And I have a sheet that starts with number 12. So it's not missing a sheet. Okay. First one is Lee. Leanne.
Yes.
Can you state your name and or what ward you live in or address?
Leanne Shar, 108 Shearwater. I'm just flabbergasted. You know, you get up there and you talk about how this is going to be so great for the community. The community built the Mary C. The city didn't build the Mary C. The community built the Mary C. And so now you have these ideas, but nobody tells the community, and from what I understand, or the Mary C. board or the staff. So it sounds like somebody's trying to pull a fast one. So you wonder why the community is questioning it or wanting answers, but yet you just passed this thing to hire this person to be in charge. Because you said you're going to let the Mary C. do their programs or the board continue their programs, but you just hired somebody whose job description is to supervise everything. That seems contradictory, and it seems like a slap in the face to the people who have given their blood, sweat, and tears to build what we have that the whole city's supposed to be proud of. It doesn't add up. I mean, I'm trying to look at your faces, and some of you aren't even looking up. I mean, it doesn't add up. If you have some hidden or some unknown reason, why can't somebody else should know about it? So, I mean, I'm just really surprised. If the former mayors were here, Sarah Ainsworth was the mayor when this was all brought about. He's so proud of this building and what they do. I don't know if anybody ever talked to him. Probably not. In addition to that, people who, I mean, my husband and I and our family and our boys spent so many hours up there building a recording studio, but nobody said, hey, what do you think? Is it being run poorly? Do you have problems with it? Is there something we need to change? Can the city take it on? I mean, the city didn't want that building. Nobody wanted that building. And Betty McGee and his people came up and tried to have it. The sole purpose was to have the rooms available for education, not so much to make money. So I don't know what the big grandiose plans are, why it has to be bigger than it is, because it's already amazing. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Next, Donald Shar.
Like my wife, I'm still hung up on the Mary C. Issue, and I know all y'all did tonight was authorize moving forward with the job description for the person that you've already decided, it appears, the way it's being discussed up there, that this is a done deal. It is a done deal. So discussions with the public, if you want to share this input, if you want to truly get the input of the public, don't go in there with the decisions already made. give us the opportunity to actually hear what the thoughts are and why you want to do this, and maybe we'll buy into it, maybe we'll say it's a great idea. I don't know. It seems like the decisions are being made and before the public has an opportunity. And I've been through this in other organizations, not in the city of Ocean Springs, where, well, we're not deciding that now, we're going to decide that later. But you do so many things, and by the time you get to the decision making, you say, well, we've done this, you knew we gave this job description, we advertised for it, and we sent the Friends of the Mary C a notice. So it's like you're doing all these steps, we're not making that decision now, we're still going to talk. So give the public a real opportunity. Trust us to be open-minded to hear what you have to say. And that is what I'm asking. And my wife certainly talked about the things that we did, and we are by no means, the biggest contributors financially or from a time standpoint, but I do know that our family spent several years, and this was a major point of our lives. We helped raise over $80,000 for that fund, and our boys were in high school at the time. And their friends joined in, and it didn't become the old high school, it became a facility that meant something to them personally. So it wasn't just a museum to them, it was something that they really felt that they built on. And I can tell you, they're upset about it, because they don't know what's going on. A couple of things related to all this. Rick, whether it's you or whether it's Bobby, is there a new draft agreement? You kind of mentioned the new agreement or the new contract with the Friends. I don't know what it says. Is that something that's available for review? Is it not even been prepared yet?
The new agreement with the Friends is they're trying to get the information from the Friends and have not received any information to move forward, but they're trying to get a working agreement for the advisory council to go through. The plan is to hopefully keep all of their programs and all that intact, to where the city is just going to assist and get in there.
So who's going to manage it? The city's going to manage it, not the Friends. We're
going to just manage the day-to-day, opening the doors, handling all the calendars, the scheduling, to where all of that's off of the Friends. Right now, I mean, they have to pay a director, they have to manage the day-to-day, they've got to make sure volunteers are sitting there all day long, where this will have a coordinator in the building. And isn't that exactly what the coordinator that y'all are looking to hire is going to do? So the city will be paying for that position. But again, I'm not trying to piecemeal it. I think the whole discussion, if we had the bigger picture, it would be helpful, then we would not be thinking worst case. A couple of other things. When will the fiscal year 21 draft budget for the city of Ocean Springs be available? Y'all got to have it approved and in place, and you have to have a public hearing before the end of September, right?
Right, we're working on that right now.
Get out by September 15th. There'll probably be a public hearing, not next week, probably the next week.
When's the budget going to be available so anybody can look at it? Because having a public hearing without having access to
No, yeah, I understand. I'll try to make sure there's copies available for people to pick up for the public hearing. I'm probably 80% done with it, so probably by Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll have it.
So if y'all put something on the city website to know that there's a copy available in the library or wherever it is that y'all choose to make it available.
No, 3 minutes are up, I'm sorry.
I got one other quick issue, and that is does this budget include whatever your plans are for the Mary C that you haven't done yet? So you have a budget, you have a plan, but it hasn't been shared. Okay.
Thank you, Don. All right, next, Lisa Audemars.
And with all fairness, when you say, Bobby, that you volunteered to be the liaison, which I was so appreciative of, and we went to have a meeting to discuss that plan, you sent an attorney asking for our programs and contracts. I'm Lisa Audemars. I live at 1111 Ackerville Drive. I'm also currently sitting as the vice chair. I didn't plan on speaking today, but I want to just share facts. I want you all to know, as we all do, that we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and we've already lost $65,000 in sales tax revenue. Things that I have been told by the board that they could not afford while I was serving, is that they could not fix the roof in the last 3 years due to pricing, fire alarm and sprinklers. They could not afford the custodial services, and they also could not make the stage inside theater ADA compliant due to budget reasons. Just for fact to know that there are 8 arts and cultural nonprofits in the city of Ocean Springs, and that private entities and individuals are already providing at least $1 million annually. $400,000 of that is provided by the Friends of the Mary C. The Mary C spends approximately $200,000 per year on contract employees and instructors. These are people's livelihoods. The Mary C has invested $92,000 worth of theater equipment. We have a full kitchen of supplies and equipment. We're not sure how the city's going to operate the liquor license or pay for the stock or the inventory, how you're going to do marketing, ticketing, or credit card fees, who's going to be paying for the security alarm bill, or if you've even reviewed the budget. Because when we speak to your mayor, he does not have answers or understand. We're not sure if you reached out to the stakeholders or the donors before you sent us the 90-day termination. And we also have 2 full-time volunteers that have served on the Mary C for the past 10 years. That's worth at least $130,000 annually. The Fetter Foundation has underwritten programming for the past 10 years. They made direct investments into the operating budget for the past 6 years. They led and participated in fundraising events and served on the board for the past 6 years. Total funds directly invested into the Mary C is $167,224 for the past 6 years. $26,000 annually just for programming and facility. They are now gone. Becky's Kitchen has moved to the George Orr Museum. We're not sure if you consulted with HOSA or OSAA. We're not sure what other artists you have spoke to. When we ask to speak to you all, you continually to send your attorney to ask for our programming and contracts. We also noted that you spoke of Biloxi's senior project with the theater. We want you to know that Biloxi can barely take care of the building right now. The roof has leaked for years, smoke and fire alarms were not connected, they paid unlicensed, unbonded workers who painted over the water sprinklers. The city has still not fixed it. They had to take out a mortgage on the roof, and they are still paying on that. The Biloxi city leaders had to find...
Sorry.
That's okay.
Could I just ask one question, please? If this plan is so great, and it may be, why not share the good news instead of putting everybody through this, including yourselves? The communication has not been good. I know how hard you all work. It's not an easy job where you are, and I appreciate most of what you do. But if the plan's so great, tell us what it is. You may have more supporters than you think.
Paul Curtis. Next one.
Are you sure we're not going to answer your question?
Just a statement.
Is that Vicky Reynolds? Or Vic Reynolds? Jolie Johnson? William Moore? Brianna
Dr.
Young?
Moore.
Brianna Wooten? Or Bianca Wooten? Okay. Matthew Lott?
I've already sent my letter to you guys. Really didn't get much of a response. But putting your city attorney in charge of any kind of meetings just really slaps everybody in the face with Mary C. I'm on the board. I've only served for a year. My children are involved in this on the programs. It will not be the same in the city. It just won't. And for you to not sit down with us and talk with us about what's going on, it makes no sense. There's something going on behind the scenes that it's not clear. You have given us a termination. Mr. Cox, everything that you said is opposite of what your actions are. Opposite. Everything is opposite. You've kicked us out. We're gone on September 1st. That's it. We have no plan in place.
Mr. Lott, whenever we met with 3 representatives, I think, from the Friends of Mary C., the discussion was taken, and the attorney and the mayor was going to get with Elizabeth and the Friends to get the information they needed to get the agreement in the works, get it going to where we could all sit down with an advisory committee and finalize. They have tried to do that. That was not supposed to be from us. Nicole is our attorney. She was going to be writing out the draft.
Okay.
That is the reason she reached out for that information.
Right. So you put that back on us to provide our contracts, which we entered into. You canceled the contract. You canceled it. So why do you think you have the right to come and seek our information at that point and take it from us that we worked hard for and use these time and resources and volunteer time to try to gain this information? You don't have the right to that information now. So if you wanted to work with us, your actions would show that you wanted to work with us. But your actions show the opposite. And in fact, the letters from the city attorney are more like, we're going to sue you, Mary C., if you don't do what we say, okay? That's all I have.
All right, Noel Ryder. All right. Let's see, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anybody else would like to address the work up to 3 minutes?
Dr. Bill.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Clay Williams, 215 Ashley Place, Ocean Springs. Just wanted to address you tonight. I had the good fortune of being involved at the outset with the creation of the Mary C. O'Keefe Center. It was a collaborative effort led by private citizens in this community, many of whom many of you know. They were passionate about it. They wanted to see not only the building saved, preserved, restored, but they also wanted to see the programming that exists here today. It's been a success. It really has. I mean, when you look at the programming that's there, arts programming is good, the culinary programming is good. It's all been done by the private sector. Private donations led by a nonprofit. At the time, I was working in Washington, D.C. for one of our members of Congress. We appropriated nearly $1 million for the project. And the intent was to see it to where it is today. What my question really is for you is, why are we trying to change something that doesn't appear in the least to be broken? I mean, we're going to hire somebody using city taxpayer dollars that's going to work for the city when you've got a not-for-profit that's very, very willing to do it and very capable of doing it. I mean, they've had success. Each year, the programming has grown. They've expanded the type of offerings that they have. And so my question just is, why are we trying to change something, fix something that's just not broken? So that's what I cannot comprehend, because the original intent, the collaborative commitment was there, and we've seen it to fruition as a community. You've had the city's participation, you've had the federal government's participation, you've had state government participation, and most importantly, you've had willing volunteers and private sector participants that have greatly supported. And so again, like many of these individuals in the room, I don't understand why the change, why the abrupt change when it's obviously not broken and it's been effective. Thank you.
All right, we have time for 2 more to make the 30 minutes. Bill?
One more, 42 of the Springs. I wanted to thank Bobby and Rob for being willing to say they recognize that this is an outpouring of support for the Friends of Mary C. and trying to slow things down. I think they'll step on a landmine. Really didn't expect this response from the public, and that might be a good time to step back and say, hey, maybe we do need this. Maybe we are rushing things too much for the Ocean Springs community. built, continue to make Ocean Springs thrive. They all signed a letter that was supporting the Friends of Mary C. It wasn't people that aren't in the know, and there's no reason to think that they're uninformed. But that's what's being said, is we just don't understand. If they don't understand, it's a problem with, you know, y'all need to work on your communication skills with your constituents, because we're all like, what the heck is going on? So, you know, I run into those problems every day at work, communication problems. It's difficult, but we love the Mary C. We really want to see it thrive, and it didn't seem broken to the public. It seemed very, very successful. So thank you for your time, and thank everybody for coming out.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Doc, I want to say one thing real quick. Yes, I think that was a little abrupt to make a decision on that tonight. But at the same time, we have reached out before any letters went out, asked for meetings, were denied meetings. Reached out after the letter went out, had one meeting that Bobby already made mention of. Everybody left on the same page. Let's work together and get this done. And from then on, there's been no more contact, except for no, we're not meeting, we're not doing anything. So that's where we're.
To the extent perception is reality, that's not what people think.
That's the truth.
Yeah, but you know, in the last meeting, Ken made a motion to try and have a meeting with everybody, and couldn't even get a second to talk to everybody. So, I mean, I guess I'm just.
I am too, because they were denying us meetings at that point.
The meetings were out for about programming, not about canceling the whole Mary
You've had your 3 minutes, go ahead.
Thank you, gentlemen. Jason Graver, 308 Live Oak. Obviously, y'all have the power to do this. I think the appropriate question is why. I don't know the lady's name. She hit the nail on the head. It may be the greatest thing that Ocean Springs will tell you. We just don't know. And it sounds like there have been some disagreements between the city and the Friends of the Mary City. Let's just put that aside. I urge you, gentlemen, you have the power to just allow an open meeting so we can hear on this before it moves forward. Again, it may be great, and it doesn't seem wise to do this and shove it down the community's throats. I would just urge y'all not to do that. Please allow, as Mr. Cox said, the intent of the city, whatever that is, just allow it to be expressed so that the community can know what it is. No one's going to be hurt by that. I ask y'all to do that. I echo the words of the lady. The other thing just and you know, I was always taught to respect my elders, although she's not much older than I am. And I'm sure y'all were as well. And so she asked a very simple question. I pray that y'all would respect that. The other thing that I think y'all probably know, but I'll just mention, capital follows culture. And what Ocean Springs has is a really interesting culture. I'm not from Ocean Springs, I live here now. I'm from a town that is dying. And a lot of the reason the town is dying is because there's no culture. And if you take away one of the jewels of Ocean Springs, the Mary C's culture, by running out these artists that don't like to be led by bureaucrats, if I can say that word, you can squelch your culture and then reduce the capital that y'all want to see to come into Ocean Springs. So with all that being said, please just allow the public to hear what the intent is. Thank you.
All right, thanks. I think that's the end of general public comment. I want to tell everybody I appreciate you spending your evening with us and voicing your concerns. Next on the agenda is Alderman Forum. Mr. Gill.
Yeah. Alan, I got a question for you. We had talked a few days ago about Mike Hale coming over to Ward 1 and finishing his landscaping projects. And I think it was this morning I talked to you. And I was waiting for a call back, but Didn't hear from him, so I figured I'd ask you tonight.
He's just got so much going on right now, he hasn't been able to get back over there yet. We gotta start something at the police department, get it going. Only have the 3 people in beautification, so they're stretched pretty thin between all over the city. But, I'll talk to him and see where he's at. He said his concern was he was wanting to plant some flowers, there's no water, no irrigation over there. He's afraid if he plants them, they're gonna die.
No, it's not, I don't agree with that, Alan. We hadn't had, irrigation on that medium for 2 or 3 years that we've had plants.
I know, but that's probably why most of them we pulled out were dead.
No, that's not the reason either. The reason is they were roses, and they just not enough sun, that area. We have the front of a wall on, Bristol. There's a lot of nice landscaping there, and there's no irrigation there.
I'll talk to him tomorrow and see when he thinks he can get
Well,
back up there.
well, here's the thing. He was in Fort Bayou. He did some jobs, and then
I
before he
understand.
could,
He spent 4 days in Fort Bayou, but I have the whole city to do, not just Fort Bayou.
I know.
I can't tie him down for weeks and weeks and just in Fort Bayou.
No, weeks and weeks, it's never happened in Fort Bayou. I might have got him 4 days in the last 3 months.
I know there's some boards that haven't got him at all.
Well, if they put a request in, you need to schedule it that way.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, the thing about it is, Alan, is that I know what you're saying, and I hear that from you over the last month, trying to get Mike back in there. You know, but now, he's on another new job now in front of the police department. He hasn't finished Fort Bayou yet. In other words, if he has a job, he's doing something in the Fort Bayou, he needs to finish that and then go to another job. It'd be just like if he was at the police station, all of a sudden you took him out of there to go do another job, and he went back to the police station, you took him off
I'm just trying
again.
to prioritize the best I can. And
I know
feel
what
like
you're
the
saying.
city building should come before the subdivision.
Yeah.
I kind of said that to him, John, because there was a lot of people fussing about the police department. They were calling it the courthouse, and they were talking about why would the public building look so bad? And so I did say to him, we did need to do something at the police department, so if that's pulled him away, then I'll take some responsibility for that, because there were several comments out there about that the city building should not look so bad. So I told him city buildings do need to be up to par, and city spaces.
We just have so much going on with Invocation.
So I'll take that.
I understand.
For the last month, I've only had 1 or 2 here at a time. I had Stephen and Michael out for 2-3 weeks together with COVID. I only had here was the girl that we hired and a helper working with her. I just got Mike back this week. Stephen's still out. So I just got Mike and Summer here this week with a helper. So
Yeah, I understand that. The only thing I'm saying
I
is
had
that,
18 people out at one time.
the only thing I'm saying is that I don't know how you can start new projects when you're not finished your old projects. And that's the thing. And Patty, the answer to your question is that, yeah, you got calls about the police station, but I get calls in my ward about the landscaping in my ward.
You don't even know.
So I get, huh?
I said, you don't even know what phone calls are. I get them from my businesses all day, every day from downtown. I mean, those guys are, I mean, with all respect, I mean, Alan's responsible for the daily hang on a second. Alan's responsible for the daily operations of the city. It's not just, he's not just tasked just on work orders. And, but I get just as many calls, and I don't even ask for subdivisions.
I know, Ricky. Hey, look, if my ward looked like yours, Ricky, I wouldn't be up here complaining, I guarantee you that. You can find them on the front beach every day of the week, almost.
I doubt it.
Oh,
I
guarantee you can.
We can write
every
on
time
lists
I
of
call.
heads.
Look, I don't want to get into with you, Ricky, and I mean, I don't want. Look, I get phone calls. I got constituents. I just need a landscape.
At what part does the homeowners association do that?
A lot of them don't too.
Huh?
That was gonna be my question. John,
All of that money that is in the budget is for downtown. Well, that's what County Moore had designated that for.
It's for neutral areas. It's for anywhere like in front of the brick thing, it's for anything that's neutral. The money that's in the budget is for the city buildings, the neutral. It's not to say no subdivisions, but it can't go completely to any subdivision, so it's really for all your neutral areas. There still might be enough to do one subdivision in all 6. There may not be enough to do 6 different subdivisions for one person. But it's more for
Well, I think what Alice's question was, is what does the Fort Bayou Homeowners Association pay for landscaping?
Okay, I'll be glad to tell you. They pay the upkeep and the cutting of all the mediums in Fort Bayou, which comes to about $250 a month, $250 a month. And the association fees are $25. So they stretch it. They always stretch it in money to keep the mediums up. And I pay for the landscaping material. I don't take it out of the city budget, I take it out of my ward money, and all the city got to do is supply the labor. So we've got a good deal going on in Ward 1
Yeah, we just
for the
running
city.
short of labor right now.
Huh?
We're just running short of labor right now.
Well,
People out
okay.
and everything.
I think they're
Well,
saying like
I
in
just-
Robin Hills, they just give money and the subdivision takes care of it.
Exactly, I mean,
Yeah.
in my
They don't
neighborhood
split
and
it
all the
that way.
whole HOAs in my neighborhood, you know, we all pay into HOA fees, and that pays the landscaping, labor, material, cuttings, and everything. I mean, I didn't know we were in the business of landscaping neighborhood entrances as a city. I mean, everything I've done has been
I'm just
by
trying to get
HOA.
communication to everyone.
Well,
So everybody knows.
Rob, you need to drive around the city, you can see landscaping all over. That's upkept and paid for by the city, paid by the taxpayers.
On public property, but not on
Well,
private.
this is
HOA.
public property I'm talking about, I wouldn't. Rob, I don't think you've been in all of it, this is all public property. No, you
I'm
can't,
just asking.
you can't put it on private property.
There's no doubt we need to spread it around, and,
We'll get
I
them
know
back
God
in
is
there.
Well, I just, look, I don't wanna say up here, I don't wanna be one to sound like a complaint, but I just get, I mean, I get calls from my constituents about it.
I
You
get
drive
the
around
same calls.
town, and they see how nice it is, and then, so, I mean, you know, Alan, we've talked several times, I figured I'd ask you in the meeting, you know, and not only that, it's asphalt, we've been talking about fixing potholes for
Lloyd's running
2
asphalt.
months or something like that. Oh, yeah, Lloyd's gonna come tomorrow, we get it, never happens.
If the plant's not running, I can't get it.
Well, what about drop out? I mean,
You don't wanna put
cold.
a cold patch in a hole that's.
Well, I'd rather do that
that's a
than
waste
hurt
of money.
somebody's tie, Alan. I'd rather put cold patch.
If you got a hole as big as this table, it'd take 300 bags of cold patch to make it smooth.
Well, I'm not talking about a hole big as that table. I wouldn't ask you for cold patch for that. I'm talking about a pothole. Anyway,
I'll get somebody in bottles.
I appreciate it, Alan. And when Mike's finished at the police station, would you send him over to Ward 1 so I get some stuff
And
done?
once he gets the police station started, he may not have to stay there all the time once he gets his work going. But I need him there to lay everything out, how everything's gonna go. As soon as I can, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, Joe? Bob?
I'm done.
All right, anything for executive session? Nope. All right, do I have a motion to recess until 6 p.m. Tuesday, August 18th, and it's gonna be here?
So moved.
Motion by Rob, second by Companion, all in favor?
Correction, motion by Tiffany.
Oh, motion by Mike.
Okay, Secretary? Yes, I'm not in a dangerous age. Don't worry, he got from 2005.
I want to wear it.
I like to do it.
Yeah.
Not the dangerous age group. He ain't no younger neither. No.
Steven,
Yeah, come on, just come on by the, holler at
I can't do that, because that crosses the line. What do we call them? I guess so, I didn't want to say red, but I kind of think
Look.